Some cars are transportation, and then there is this, the 2027 Chevrolet Corvette C8. A machine that takes everything America loves about speed, sound, and pure driving theater and pushes it further than ever before. And today on Prime Car Culture, we are going to look at every single inch of it. So if you love cars the way we do, stay with us until the very end, because this one is worth it. The story of the 2027 Corvette begins under the hood, or rather, right behind the driver, because this is still a mid-engine sports car through and through. And for this model year, Chevrolet has done something the small block faithful have waited decades for, dropping in an entirely new naturally aspirated engine that raises the bar for what a base Corvette can do, and we will get to that engine in detail very soon. But first, let us walk around this car the way it deserves to be walked around, starting right at the nose. The front of the Corvette has always been about aggression, mixed with precision, and up close that low, wide opening at the front of the car pulls in the air. This engine needs to breathe, framed by sharp, angular lines that make the whole face look like it is ready to bite the pavement, and the way the panel gaps are cut here shows just how far Chevrolet has come with build quality on this generation. Move up slightly and you land on the headlights, slim, razor-thin projector units that tuck into the fender line instead of sitting on top of it, giving the car that low, predatory stance that mid-engine Corvettes are known for. And when they are lit up at night, the beam pattern throws a crisp, clean line down the road that feels almost surgical in how precise it is. Right beside them, you get a thin strip of daytime running lights, a signature shape that has become instantly recognizable on the C8, glowing with a cool white intensity that makes this car impossible to miss in traffic, even from 3 lanes over. And that little visual signature alone tells other drivers exactly what they are looking at before they even see the badge. Speaking of which, walk around to the tail, and you will find the Corvette emblem sitting proud and centered, the crossed flags logo that has represented this nameplate since 1953, and seeing it stamped onto this new body on a car built in the summer of 2026 for the 2027 model year really drives home just how far this legacy has come, from a simple roadster to a genuine world-class supercar rival built right here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now drop your eyes down to the wheels, and this is where the Corvette really shows off its athletic side, with a set of lightweight alloys that fill out the wheel arches perfectly. The spokes cut in a way that lets you catch glimpses of the massive brakes tucked behind them, and depending on the trim and package, these wheels wear staggered sizing front to rear, wider out back, to put all that power down cleanly, wrapped in serious performance rubber that grips the road the way a sports car this capable demands. Reach for the door, and you will notice the handle is not a handle at all in the traditional sense. It is a sculpted touchpad set flush into the bodywork, a design choice that keeps the silhouette clean and slippery through the air, while still feeling satisfying to use every single time you climb in. A small detail that a lot of people miss, but one that genuinely changes how premium this car feels the moment you approach it. Just above that, the side mirrors sit on slim stalks, aerodynamically shaped to cut drag and reduce wind noise at speed, and they fold in tight to the body, framing the door glass in a way that keeps the whole profile looking tense and athletic, even when the car is standing perfectly still in a parking lot. Head toward the back now, and the taillights are where this car gets genuinely dramatic. A pair of sharp, sequential shapes that wrap around the rear haunches, glowing red against the carbon and metal surfaces around them. And when you hit the brakes, they flash with an intensity that lets everyone behind you know exactly what kind of car they are dealing with. Right below them is arguably the best part of the entire rear end, the exhaust outlets. And for 2027, every version of this car ships with a proper performance exhaust system as standard. 4 outlets on many configurations, finished in bright metal that catches the light beautifully. And when this new engine fires up, the sound that comes out of these pipes is deeper, richer, and more aggressive than anything the outgoing V8 ever produced. A real 4-cylinder Banshee wail, crossed with old-school American muscle that will genuinely give you chills the first time you hear it echo off a parking garage wall. And once you hear it firsthand, you will understand why enthusiasts have waited years for a small block this loud, refined, and this thrilling to hear firsthand. Now let us step inside, because the cabin of this Corvette has come a very long way from the plastic-heavy interiors of generations past. Slide into the driver's seat, and the first thing you notice is how wrapped around you everything feels. The dashboard sweeping from the door panel across to the center stack in one continuous cockpit-style flow that genuinely feels like it was lifted straight out of a fighter jet, with stitched surfaces and soft touch materials covering nearly every point your hand naturally falls. The steering wheel sits flat-bottomed and thick-rimmed, wrapped in leather with contrast stitching, and it houses a row of squared-off buttons for drive mode, media, and cruise control, all positioned so your thumbs never have to leave the wheel during a spirited drive. Look just past it, and you get the fully digital instrument cluster, a crisp, configurable display that can shift its entire layout depending on which drive mode you select. showing you a simplified readout for cruising or a full-width tachometer that dominates the screen the moment you switch into a track-focused setting. Beside that, angled toward the driver, sits the vertical infotainment screen, tall and narrow, running Chevrolet's latest software with quick, responsive graphics. And that steep angle toward the driver is very intentional, keeping every menu and setting within easy reach without forcing you to lean across the cabin. Between the seats, you will find the raised center console, home to a row of squared metallic switches that Chevrolet calls the control spine, a genuinely unique piece of design that separates climate, drive mode, and exhaust settings into their own tactile switchgear rather than burying them all in a touchscreen menu. And just ahead of that sits the electronic gear shifter for the 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, a small, simple toggle that belies just how quickly this gearbox can snap off shifts once you are out on the road. The front seats themselves are heavily bolstered, available in several trim levels up through a full competition-style bucket seat, and they hold you firmly in place through corners while still remaining genuinely comfortable enough for a long highway cruise, something not every sports car manages to pull off. At night, this cabin transforms completely, with customizable ambient lighting tracing the door panels, the footwells, and the edges of the center console in your choice of colors, casting a soft glow across all that stitched leather and giving the whole interior a genuinely upscale, almost jewelry box quality once the sun goes down. Speaking of the leather, run your hand across the door panels and you will find contrast stitching running through nearly every surface, from the armrests to the dashboard, with available two-tone color combinations and even more premium trim packages for 2027 that bring in additional carbon fiber accents and appearance options across the cabin. For coupe buyers, there is a lightweight removable roof panel that lifts out by hand, letting you drive open air whenever you want it, while convertible buyers get a power-folding hardtop that disappears in a matter of seconds at the push of a button. And either way, watching that roof mechanism work is genuinely satisfying to see in person. Now let's get to the heart of this entire car, because for 2027, Chevrolet completely reworked what sits behind that cabin. Pop open the rear hatch and you are staring straight down at the new LS6 small block V8, a naturally aspirated 6.7-liter engine that replaces the outgoing 6.2-liter unit. And this is not just a bump in displacement, it is a fundamentally new architecture, the 6th generation of the small block family, built with a 13:1 compression ratio, new cylinder heads with targeted water jacket cooling, and a massive 95mm throttle body feeding a tunnel ram intake designed to move air into the cylinders as efficiently as possible. Look closely and you will see the dual fuel injection setup Chevrolet calls PDI, combining port and direct injection to optimize both power and efficiency depending on how you are driving. And the result of all this engineering is 535 horsepower and 520 pound-feet of torque in the standard Stingray and the returning Grand Sport model, numbers that make this the most powerful base engine any production Corvette has ever offered from the factory. That power routes through an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic that sits directly behind the engine, keeping the weight low and centered for that mid-engine balance the C8 is famous for. And even with the extra size and output from this new engine, Chevrolet engineers somehow held total weight gain to just around 25 pounds compared to the outgoing model, a genuinely impressive feat of packaging. Higher up the lineup, the Z06 model steps up to a larger 5.5-liter, naturally aspirated flat plane crank V8 that revs to a screaming redline unlike anything else in this segment, while the ZR1 takes that same architecture and adds twin turbochargers for truly supercar-level output, and the ZR1X goes even further, blending that twin turbo power with an electric front axle for all-wheel drive and hypercar-rivaling acceleration. And then there is the new Grand Sport X, effectively replacing the outgoing hybrid E-Ray, pairing the naturally aspirated LS6 V8 with a front-mounted electric motor to produce a combined 721 horsepower and all-wheel drive traction, giving this Corvette lineup its most complete range yet, from a howling naturally aspirated street car all the way up to an electrified, twin-turbo monster capable of hanging with cars costing 3 or 4 times as much. Standing back and looking at the complete picture, the 2027 Corvette represents one of the biggest single-year updates this 8th-generation car has ever received. A new engine family, a returning fan-favorite Grand Sport trim with its wide-body stance, and Admiral Blue paint with white racing stripes, sharper technology inside the cabin, and a sound from those quad exhaust tips that genuinely earns every bit of attention it gets on the street. And when you put it all together, panel by panel, from that sharp front fascia to the glowing taillights out back, this is a car that proves American performance engineering is not slowing down, it is accelerating harder than ever. That is our full walk around and breakdown of the 2027 Chevrolet Corvette C8. Every angle, every detail, every reason this car deserves the attention it is getting right now. And if you enjoyed riding along with us through this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because here at Prime Car Culture, we bring you up close with the machines that matter most, from muscle cars to modern supercars, every single week. Drop a comment down below and let us know which Corvette trim you would spec out for yourself. Share this video with a fellow car enthusiast who needs to see this build, and we will see you in the next one right here on Prime Car Culture.